open up YouTube as well. We're live, apparently. I think we're live. But I think it's on private, so.
Make it public.
I will make it public.
Not seeing anything yet.
Oh, an error occurred on YouTube. This is usually temporary. Wait a moment, then try again. That's really great. I love YouTube. It's the greatest platform of all time.
It's the shittiest shit of all shits. Of all the shits. Okay.
That's the shittiest shit.
The
shittiest shit. Oh! All right. It won't go public for some reason. That's frustrating. That's very, very frustrating. I'm getting very frustrated.
Is it hooked up to the YouTube? Do you know?
Yeah, it is.
When you made the video, when you like...
Yeah, it is actually live. I see it. It's just, let me see if I can make it public from YouTube. Okay, it's public now. It's public, I think.
Oh, there it is. Okay,
I believe
cool.
so.
I see it. I see it.
It's there now. So we're live.
I see it on YouTube.
Cool. Me too. All right.
All right. Well, we can wait a couple minutes for people to join, and then we're going to get this video going, boy.
I'm going to tweet.
The fact that you're wearing red is freaking me out.
Why is that?
Because I'm wearing red. It's freaking me out.
This is kind of pink. It's kind of a salmon.
I guess that is true. All right. Let's do this thing. Hold on. Let me copy this. Okay.
Is there anybody in here yet?
One person.
Hi, whoever you are.
Might be me.
Hello to you. Oh, it's probably you. Oh, it might be me as well, actually.
Oh my god. Imposters.
Imposter. Wow, we did that at the same time. It was weird.
You're freaking me out today, dude. Freaking me out. Okay.
Ready? Here, I'll show you some of this before we get some people in here. Let's see, let's see which play this is. Let's see. They all ran routes to this yard line. No one decides to go even to the 40-yard line. Nobody? Is this not like the ugliest play design you've ever seen? Look at this.
What say you, Jason?
What do you do here if you're Daniel Jones? That is the question. Like, what could you possibly do?
What say you, Jason? Crazy man. Where's Gandalf when you need him?
Zach Alexander's in here. Shout out, Zach. What's up, dude?
What's good, Zach?
Getting some viewers in here.
Is that a goat? Is that a goat or a llama? I really hope it's not a goat.
I think it's a goat, and I'm going to accept it as sarcasm.
Goodness. Yeah, I'm not entirely excited for this. I would have been more excited for last week doing the live film breakdown, but here we are.
Well, I'm excited. I'm excited for the chat.
I'm excited for the chat.
Some questions and everything
about this. Yeah.
Some mailbags. You know what we should have done though, which I didn't know how to do on the StreamYard, but next time I will. We will make it so that it shows up on our YouTube like way in advance, and then when we go live, it'll send a notification. So I didn't know how to do that because I'm dumb, but next time we'll do it.
Oh, so don't sell yourself short. That's what Jason Garrett would do.
What is this accent? This is so random. You just have an accent all of a sudden.
It happens. This is just
I guess. See, I have this problem, right, where my mouse just will not connect for some reason. I think it's like dying. So now I've got my arm all the way over here stretched out to my laptop, and it's getting a little tired.
That's fine. That's fine. How's it going, fellas? If you're here, getting ready to watch this disaster, comment, let us know how you're doing. How's your day going? You guys in New York? There's a huge snowstorm here right now, so that's pretty fun. And no better time to watch inept wide receivers run poor routes and Jason Garrett put together crappy schemes if that's what you like to do on a Tuesday evening.
It's a pretty good way to spend your Tuesday night, I would say.
I would concur. Now, okay.
Do we want to begin, or do we want to wait for more people? Usually we get a few, usually get like 20 people in these live streams. We're not
You could just start it because we'll start it. It'll be recorded as well. It'll be there.
That's true. All right. So this is the first play of the game. This is literally the first passing attempt of the first play. The Giants run basically just slant to Slayton, and I want to pay attention here to
look how many people they have in the box, though.
Yeah, they're
playing the run.
Big stone wall here. They're playing the run. I mean, first play of the game, I thought it would have been a run as well. But I like passing on the first play. I think that's a good way to catch him by surprise. It's a good way to get Daniel Jones settled into the game coming off of an injury as well. But anyway, I do see Engram open here in the flat. It looks like it's man coverage. You can see that the way that these corners and defensive backs are guarding these players. Except something happened here where Caden Smith didn't get picked up. So this is actually where the ball should have gone to Caden Smith right here. But it goes over this way instead to Darius Slayton. And I want to comment on this throw because this throw was way behind Slayton. And I think if this throw is in front of Slayton, Slayton has a lot of room to run, as I'm trying to point out here with my mouse. He has a lot of room to run. It's just one safety to beat, and then he's got to outrun these two guys that he's already got a head start on. So I want to take a look at this. Yeah, right, exactly. Or a better throw. Because I think this happened once before. I think it was against Philadelphia, the Thursday night game, where he had Slayton on a slant, and he just threw it a little behind him, slowed him down, and it could have been a house call. So I think this ball should come out like not here, but like right here. This ball should be thrown because you can see that this defender is playing man coverage on Shepard. So he's not actually going to jump into this window because there's two windows when you throw a slant. There's the first window, and then if this linebacker is over here, there's the second window, right? So they got to throw this right into the first window. And it looks like Jones just didn't see that this guy was in man coverage for a second. So this throw just comes out maybe a second late, maybe a bit inaccurate because I feel like the ball just needs to be like here. And then, I think actually Slayton does an excellent job adjusting to this throw and making a catch. I think this is actually a great catch by Slayton. I just wish there was a better throw so that he could really take off with this thing.
Honestly, they're playing one man high. I would have liked them to take a shot on this play. It's the first play of the game, right? It's the first passing play of the game. I would have liked to see them just take a shot on this play in man coverage.
What you're going to see here from this film, you're going to see it very, very quickly. They don't have many shot plays in this playbook. They don't. They just don't have any vertical routes. Everything's underneath. You saw there, everything was 5 yards or less, those routes.
That's right. And I talked about this today on Twitter. Last year, DJ had, I think, 4 or 5 games with 300 plus yards, 4 plus touchdowns. This year, he has not a single game with 300 passing yards. And he's high. His season high is 2 touchdowns in a single game. We're seeing an offense that really is contained. They don't go for chunk plays. They go for short yardage situations. They're just trying to move the sticks, play by play, move the sticks. Don't take shots downfield. And it's very odd because, in the past we've seen Des Bryant, push the field down, Terrence Williams or whoever it might be. Even last year, I can't imagine if Jason Garrett watched Kellen Moore and his high octane passing offense and said, let's do the exact opposite of that because they're the number 1 passing attack in the NFL. And I have no idea what I'm doing. So and it's not like the Giants lack talent, right? They have the speed, they have guys, but look at this. They all run freaking stick routes.
Yeah, that's what I want to mention here. This ball is at the 50, right? All of the routes here go to the 45. None of them even go to the 40. So say this were a 1st and 10, you can't even get a first down on this play. It's not possible. I think this is a short yardage situation, I believe. I think the line to gain is the 45. I think it's like 2nd and 5 or 3rd and 5. I don't remember. I could check real quick, but I'm not going to because that would be kind of a hassle. So we're just going to watch how this play is designed. And basically, you're going to see everyone run routes to the 45 and then stop. And Jones here is really given no options. He has to throw the ball to one of these guys at the 45-yard line, and they're going to catch it, and they're going to fall to the ground, and that's it. But I also think that he holds on to this ball a little too long and totally just throws to the first read when he's got these three guys who definitely have a lot more space than this one guy does. This guy's blanketed in coverage because he's the hot read. He's the number one read here, and Jones just locks in and throws it. Now, I like Engram right here. This is usually one of those situations where you throw to Engram and he probably drops it and it goes into an interception. But you have to take this throw. He's got the most cushion and he's ready to catch this ball. Look at these two. Look at their body language. Look at the body language of Tate and Shepard. They know that the ball isn't even coming their way. They know that with the routes that all of these guys are running, which is all just hook routes at the sticks, they're all running stick routes, and this is the first read. They know that there's no way that he actually goes through his progressions and gets to them here. And if he actually were to do that, if he had the time in the pocket to do that, they would obviously be blanketed in coverage. Shepard's double teamed here. You got one-on-one with Tate, and he's actually in better position than Tate is. The only one who has good positioning is Evan Engram, and the ball's not going his way because this is the first read. This is just, this is a staple in Jason Garrett's offense, and that's why Jason Garrett's offense is failing to produce points. I can't hear you.
I don't know if that's on. I muted myself because there was a fire truck going by me. That classic Manhattan. No, what I'm trying to say is, they're playing single high safety, and again, stick routes in soft zone coverage. What on earth is that supposed to do? We see the Giants play soft zone all the time, and how do you beat soft zone? You push guys deep at the boundary. And they're just running stick routes. All three of them, actually four of them, I think it was Slayton, Evan Engram, Golden Tate, and who was the guy on the right side? Sterling Shepard, all ran stick routes. I'm like, come on, there's got to be something more there. And the Giants and Joe Judge, they admitted, right? They admitted right off the bat after the game that they were outcoached and outplayed. And the major thing is they said, we didn't expect them to play four linebackers in the box. They lost this in the drawing room. They lost this on the board. They lost this game before it even started because they completely failed to adjust their game plan, and they drew up a game plan that really fit a certain specific mold. They were hoping that Arizona wouldn't stack the box, and you got to think differently because think about it. The Giants' offense, come on, they've 4 consecutive games before this loss, 4 consecutive games, 140 plus yards. Why on earth wouldn't they stack the box? That's the only thing they're good at is running the ball, and Wayne Gallman still averaged 4.8 yards per carry. And they're playing soft zone coverage. Of course they're going to stack the box. They know Daniel Jones is injured. They know he can't run. They know he's throwing the ball. This is just ridiculousness from Jason Garrett that as fans, we are pointing out and saying, what the hell is this guy doing? What the hell is this guy doing? It makes zero sense to me.
Yeah, and I also want to point out here, Evan Engram is the guy who gets open on this play, and he actually runs a really good route. I'm actually a fan of this. He's going to start like he's doing just a normal drag route, one of those slide routes like Brian was talking about with Tyler Lockett. He's just going to run across, but he actually doesn't. He just curls it right here, and that's what creates a separation on Hicks because him going this way makes it Hicks and Simmons feel like they have to shift that way because it's going to be, a long developing route, but it's not. He just stops right here, and he runs a good route here. Evan Engram, I think, is our best playmaker on offense when Saquon Barkley's injured. You see how he was running this way, and then Hicks shifted a little bit to the right to try and undercut that route, and then Engram just stopped right here and got open. This is exactly where the ball should have went. This is an easy throw and catch as long as Engram doesn't drop it.
Yep. There's the Evan Engram again, the polarizing Evan.
Yeah, so here they're at the 1 yard line, backed up in their own end zone. Let's see what they do. It's a play action. I actually do remember watching this play and thinking, you got to be kidding. The only one who runs a deep route is Levi Toilolo. And I thought that was an offensive lineman at first. And I was like, there's no way they really just sent Shane Lemieux on a route, right? And it was Levi Toilolo, which is basically like sending an offensive lineman on the deepest route on the field. And then, all right, so this is Austin Mack, right? So also, that's really interesting that Austin Mack would be the only receiver on the field. I guess they just really like him as a run blocker, and they wanted to really sell that they were running the ball here. You can see they've really got everybody down on the offensive line. So I guess that's the idea there. I do like play action here as long as you can get it quickly because this is definitely like a running situation. So I do like the play action, but I like the play action with some routes actually going deep. This is we're going to see here, Caden Smith just runs a drag. Toilolo is slowly but surely running this corner route.
Look. I mean, come on, man. Come on.
I mean, you can't have Levine Toilolo running this route against Patrick Peterson. There's
Against
no
a
way.
corner.
And then,
this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. You don't push on your own goal line. Levine Toilolo, a blocking tight end who barely played this season, you do not push him 20 yards downfield. And then you throw it underneath. You end up throwing it underneath the Caden Smith.
Well, that's all you have, because obviously Patrick Peterson is going to cover Levine Toilolo, and then all you actually set up underneath was
nothing to the boundary.
Just a little spot route, and then he played a drag route. Mack ran a drag route, and then fullback out of the backfield. So you really don't have a single playmaker.
Because think
you have
about
two
it,
backup tight ends and a fullback to throw to.
On some plays, you'll see the Giants not even look to the middle of the field, right? Garrett will call up plays, and you'll see it later on. I imagine this play is going to be in it. There's one play specifically that no wide receivers go to the middle of the field, right? No wide receivers hit the middle of the field. But now they have every wide receiver within the tackle box or within 5 yards of the tackle box, nobody hitting the boundary. That is, if you want to condense your game and condense your game plan and make it easier for coverages, you just centralize everything. You have to draw guys out of coverage because there's no throwing lanes here. Think about it. He has no choice but to throw to Caden Smith. And DJ already is incapable of moving right now. He can't run. And they're just basically saying all these cover guys just stand in the middle of the field and make these passing lanes borderline impossible for you to hit. This is like I can't even believe I'm watching this.
I mean the thing is here that Arizona's playing some flat zones here. Like Hicks is going to run to the flat. I think 58's going to run to the flat as well. Right, so they're playing the flats, and the only routes that the Giants sent out, they sent 3 routes. They sent 4 if you include the fullback going to the flat, but they sent all of their routes to the flats. So just from the start, Daniel Jones has nothing to work with, and I'm not gonna really give Daniel Jones a pass in this game because he didn't play well, but he didn't have a lot to work with at any point in this game. Like someone in the chat mentioned, the first read on this play was a 6'8" run blocker. So literally, it was a play with backups. Everybody was a backup. Evan Engram wasn't on the field. He's your best playmaker. They didn't even have Shepard at the wide receiver position. They had Austin Mack, the 5th string wide receiver, or 4th string, wherever he is at now. I don't even know. But it's just mind-boggling to say the least. Every time the Giants have 5 wide out there, an empty backfield, they always motion the running back in. And I like it because, it allows Daniel Jones to know whether or not it's man coverage. But I also hate the fact that they don't throw out of 5 wide. Like, it can be a very effective system. Look at the Cardinals.
He doesn't trust his blockers.
5 wide. That's true. He always needs an extra guy in there. That makes sense. But I'd like to see them do some 5 wide. But that would also require pushing the ball downfield when you're in 5 wide. And that's just not a thing in the Jason Garrett offense. So, all right, let's see this play.
So they're manned up across the board. Yep, it's just straight up man coverage.
Yeah, it's all short routes again.
Is that Budda Baker in the middle?
Let me see.
No,
that was Budda right there.
Who's 58?
58 is Jordan Hicks.
Okay.
Right? I think that's Jordan Hicks. If somebody wants to correct me in the chat, though, let me know. Also, anybody watching this and listening, feel free to ask any questions. We're doing live mailbag as well, so we'll ask your questions while we're doing this. So feel free to ask any questions. If you want to ask any questions about anything Giants, anything football, anything Star Wars, I'll answer that too.
Yeah, and Nate, to answer your question, why didn't they commit to the run? Wayne Gallman only had 12.
I believe this is Budda Baker right here, right? Is this Budda or is this Budda? I don't remember what number he wears.
I think
this is Budda. Yeah, this is Budda. Roaming the middle. It's single high safety. It's press coverage, which, single high safety and press coverage usually is like a perfect situation where you throw the ball on the boundary and you get some fly routes and you really get it like a really good chance of having a big play here. But unfortunately, the Giants receivers do not win off of the line of scrimmage. Like, not even Shepard. Shepard's your best chance, but then he just pulls up and runs a stick route anyway. So, but Shepard, if Shepard just keeps running this fly, he probably gets by him. But he's just, the play is designed to go 4 or 5 yards.
Look, they have to implement some man coverage beaters here. Like the second guy from the slot, so the 2 on the left side or the right side of your screen, the left side of the offensive line. That guy should be running a drag route across the middle because that inside slot receiver. So Evan Engram, you see, no, other side.
Okay,
Evan Engram, the 2 receiver, the 2 in the middle. should run a drag route there because that will take out that man coverage right there. That opens up the field because Jordan Hicks is either blitzing or dropping back into coverage, and he has his back completely turned. Obviously, it's easier to see in hindsight, but you like the man coverage is blanketed. The receivers just aren't good enough to beat man coverage right here, and pretty much the entire game.
Well, I just don't think that this is a route that can win against this coverage. This is, when you have press coverage, you're not going to win on a 5-yard.
You have to do picks, though. What happened to all the picks? What happened to all the wide receiver picks that we were running earlier in the year that were working? Now they're just gone from the playbook.
Yeah, this is also a theme here. The Giants will put like trips on one side and then they'll isolate a receiver on the other side. I think they did on the first play as well with the slant to Slayton. And then they'll just have that one receiver run a man-beating route. Everybody else just runs sticks. You're like literally worthless and you're not getting the ball. And then that number one read is getting the ball no matter what because they're running a slant and a man-beating route. So that's literally what happens here, except it's really not a great route, but it's also Patrick Peterson defending it, so that just makes it difficult there. I think the ball is placed in the only place where it could be catchable for the receiver, and he forces Peterson to go over the back. So I think it's a good throw. It's just there's nobody to throw to really. So
there's nobody. And Ty, I personally, they're not going to fire Garrett because he has a relationship with the Maras, and I think they brought him in to really help the transition of Joe Judge to head coach. I think that was the main purpose. I do believe that. I think that was. I think that, okay, Jason Garrett lost his play calling duties in Dallas, right? And they once he lost them, they got Kellen Moore and he lit up the league and everyone's like, okay, well, obviously Jason Garrett shouldn't have been playing calls. That was a few years later, but for the most part, I think he was there to help the transition. I don't think he's supposed to be a long-term solution. But again, I think they were hoping he brought some stuff. He learned a lot over the past couple of years with Kellen Moore from this Cowboys offense, and he hasn't brought anything. Nothing. That was the main reason I liked him when they first signed him. I said, if he's bringing over some stuff from Kellen Moore's offense, this high-octane passing offense, pushing the field, stretching the defense, love it, absolutely love it. He did none of that. Of that. The running game's great, but you can only do so much when your quarterback hasn't thrown over 300 yards once this year.
Yeah, I also think it's worth mentioning on this play, like Jones, actually, we mentioned that the throw was accurate, but it wasn't to an open receiver, right? But also on this play, Jones gets lit up. This is a pretty basic stunt that the Cardinals run here. They just rush this guy here, and then, Hassan Reddick comes around. Hassan Reddick is the NFC Defensive Player of the Week this week. He had 5 sacks against us. He absolutely dominated, but he also had a lot of free rushes to the quarterback like this one where Kevin Zeitler just didn't pick up the stunt. So, it's just, see, I don't know. I want to ask the chat, and I want to ask you, Alex. I want to get your opinion. Is this a drop? This throw hits him in the hands. The ball is the only place it can be. Is this a drop? Right? Because that ball is, yeah, it's Slayton. The ball is catchable, right? But the ball is into the tightest of windows, and there's literally a cornerback on his back. So I want everybody's opinion. Do you consider this to be a drop? Because you can see the ball is right here.
I'd like to see the other. If we could see it from the front side, because I think that the cornerback has his other arm pinned. So this would essentially have to be.
We can't see that front side, unfortunately.
The coverage is so good. The second he touches the ball, it's free. It's free reign for him to do anything he wants.
Yeah.
So I just think he just doesn't have separation.
Yep, not enough separation, but that's also a really tough situation to separate in. That's really tight man coverage. See, again, they got the 5 wide, they got the trips on one side, and they got the isolated receiver here. They just bring in the running back in the backfield. I'd like them to actually run some 5 wide at some point, but I haven't seen them do it. I don't remember them doing it. So here's a good throw, good catch. Slayton kind of goes stupid, and they marked this a first down, but it really shouldn't have been.
Yeah,
because that's not how forward progress works. He breaks a tackle and he turns around and continues running. He should be down here, but they gave him the forward progress. So we're happy with that as Giants fans, but that probably wasn't a good idea. But let's look at the play design again. So here's the line to gain, and let's see where all these routes go. This route's right here at the line of scrimmage. So it's a little screen. You got the running back in the flat. I think he's in man coverage though.
This is the zone.
This route pulls up right here. Zone. Yeah, actually, this is zone coverage. Sorry, that's not man coverage. This is zone.
The Giants only won against zone coverage. Against man coverage, they were absolutely terrible.
Yeah, Slayton does a nice job finding that soft spot of the zone. Like, this is his route to run a curl here, but he also feels it, and he doesn't, run it too far this way or too far that way. He feels it, and he finds a nice open spot, and he just is patient in it. And I like him coming back to the ball. I don't really like him turning around because he clearly doesn't have the awareness that he already has the first down. He should have caught this ball and gone straight down, or caught it and tried to, he doesn't realize that he's already got the first down yardage apparently. So that's just one little knock there, but that's not a big deal. That's just like slight gap in awareness, but I think it's a good. I don't like the play call still though. That's basically what I'm getting at though. Eventually, I want to say that like I don't like all of the routes just going to the sticks. Every single play that I've shown you has gone straight to the sticks, and there's been nothing creative, nothing deep. There's been no opportunity to make a big play on any of these plays.
Yep. Again, stack in the box.
Yeah, I think these are. I don't think I skipped any of these plays. The first like 2 drives I have like every single passing play. So this is literally just the play calls. There hasn't been any deep shots that I haven't put in here. These are the play calls. All of them have gone to the sticks. I think that's worth clarifying.
Yep. And if you saw me live tweeting the game all game long, I was saying push the ball downfield, throw deep shots, and they did it a couple times. They connected with Golden Tate. Should have connected with Sterling Shepard. He just isn't fast enough.
Yeah.
And Golden Tate dropped another one. So, they didn't really take any deep shots. And you're in man coverage, give your guy a chance. This is what Anthony talks about every week, by the way, right? Every week you say, if you're in single man coverage, DJ throws the ball up, even if the separation isn't there, give your guy a chance to make a play. And they just didn't the entire game.
Yeah, and also I want to point out Ty Jackson in the chat said, I just think it's good coverage. And a lot of these plays, there is really good coverage. And that's what we're seeing is good coverage. But a lot of these plays we're seeing just not good route concepts, routes that do not allow players to get open because they're just not breaking anywhere. They're just running and then turning around. You're not breaking. So if it's man coverage and a guy runs up to you and just turns around, all you have to do is step forward 3 feet and then you're right on him. But if he goes forward and then breaks one way, you actually have to run with him. And that's how you create separation. But none of these routes have really done that. And that's really the problem. But there is a lot of great coverage. I think that the Cardinals, you got to give them props. They played a great game. They had a lot of good play calls defensively, and their players played really well and covered well. So I want to talk about this play because I thought this was interesting. This is the first shot play that the Giants had. This is literally they're running 2 receivers, and you're just taking a shot. So the only 2 routes are going very deep, and you have to throw the ball up. And so, yeah, let's just break it down, actually. Let's just watch it first. So, play action. Max protect, everybody's blocking, and then there's 2 receivers going out. Jones immediately bails from what seems to be a pretty good pocket. He immediately just bails.
That's
I don't
the
know
problem,
why.
though. And Anthony, how many times have I said when DJ sees ghosts sometimes and he always rolls out to his right side for no reason? And mind you, every week I say Daniel Jones is a momentum-based quarterback. That game he missed was terrible for him. Terrible.
Yeah.
It completely messed with his entire confidence, everything he was seeing. He doesn't do this against Cincinnati in the first half or the 3 games before that. This is ridiculous. Like, there's no reason for him. He could step into this throw, this crosser in the slot going across the middle of the field, has some decent separation. Actually, he's actually the outside guy going inside, but he's running a crosser and he's pretty much open. If Daniel Jones stays in the pocket and slings this across the middle of the field, it's a huge gain. These are the chunk plays you can't miss on.
Here's the thing. If Jones is going to, maneuver in this pocket, he should go left. He goes right, and then he rolls out. But he should have gone left, A, because this route is going left, and then B, because this guy gets beat this way. So he runs around the contact rather than just stepping away and giving his lineman a chance to actually reset and continue blocking. Like, that's like a rookie thing. This is something that a rookie does. This isn't a veteran move. And I know he's not a veteran. He's only in his 2nd year, but I actually don't think that this is that bad of a job by Matt Parrott here. I think that Parrott has him. He has him parallel to the sideline. He gets pushed back a little bit, and you can see that Golden's starting to break free this way. He does a cross chop, right? But this is when Parrott's supposed to just settle and push him behind the pocket. This is when he pushes him along, and Jones steps up this way and then has a really clean pocket because the guys up front on the left side did a great job. So that's really, that's not a good job in the pocket by Jones because he should have stood right behind this brick wall. And then he would have had Slayton continue this route, and he would have been able to hit him somewhere around the 50-yard line.
Also, play this out. Also note here, Daniel Jones runs for first down here any other day. This is an easy first down with his legs.
I disagree.
I think he's getting that edge. We know how fast DJ is. He's getting that edge, no problem against a defensive tackle. He can't run. Look at him. He's hobbled. The guy could not run.
I disagree. I don't think he's hobbling. I think he's just looking downfield and trying
I
to
don't know.
find a
I
guy.
don't
'Cause
think he's hobbles, but I think
But
at
this
the
is
end
a
of the
shot
day,
play, and on this play, the whole idea is to throw the ball deep, and I think he's just waiting and waiting and waiting so that he has the opportunity to throw the ball deep, and it never comes. I don't know. It could go either way. You know, we're
I
not
just think
Jones.
they
We can't.
told him. I just think they told him don't run. He didn't have a single rushing attempt. That was the first time this
Yeah,
entire
maybe.
season he didn't. I think any other day he takes off and he picks up. Look at all the space in front of him. He has 30 yards of space. No
Maybe,
one's
but I'll
there.
also say, while I think Jones messed up by bailing and going right, and I think he should have just stood in the pocket and shifted left and then found Slayton. If he was going to bail and go right, he should have at this point just stopped and thrown this ball all the way over here, like onto the sideline, basically out of bounds. Give your receiver a chance, but don't put it in harm's way with the safety who's about to double team that route, right? So that ball should have really just gone like to the 30, but like right here on the sideline. He should have just launched it because
Bro,
this is
that's
a shot
tough,
play.
bro.
Yeah, and it's
Tough,
going to
bro.
be incomplete. It's going to be incomplete. I'm not saying he's going to complete it, but you at least give your receiver a chance. It's a shot play. Your receiver has to get a chance. It's like throwing the ball out of the back of the end zone on a Hail Mary. You gave nobody a single chance.
Can
You
we
have
go
to at
back
least
a
give
little
your guy a
bit
chance on a shot play.
to
Yeah.
Slayton? I just want to see Slayton. So Slayton motions across and he's going inside. He's
Mhm.
going across the field. Just keep going because I want to see when
Yeah.
he breaks
Also
back.
worth mentioning here. They put Slayton in motion. They have him on the outside, and they put him in motion here. And what they do, I want to show this. If this would hurry up, right there we go. They put him like behind whoever is this Shepard? Who is this? I don't even know. They put him
CJ
behind
Board,
him because
maybe?
then you can't. I think it is CJ Board. Actually, you're right. They put him behind CJ Board because then you can't press him, and then he gets a free run. And that's exactly what you want here on this deep crosser. You just want a free run. You don't want to be pressed on that. So he just gets his free run, and then he's open here. This is pretty open, I
I want
think.
to
But
see his move when he. Okay, so he's
right there,
basically
that's
just
what you
circling
want to
that
see.
route. So okay, yeah. At this point, it's just Slayton's just trying to get open for DJ.
Yeah, no, he sees Jones bail and he knows I'm rolling. I'm running a route to the left. He's rolling
Oh,
right.
look how
He
much
can't
space he
throw that ball.
has. Look how
Yeah,
much space he has. That's on DJ. That's on DJ.
when I watched this live, I said that play is on DJ. Because I saw Slayton breaking open, and then I watched it again, and I was like, okay, that play was definitely on DJ.
Yeah.
But it's also a tough play. There's only two routes out there. It's a shot play. It's the first shot that the Giants took all game, and of course, the Cardinals happened to be ready for it. But you got to take more shots. This is the first shot play. There should have been more of these in this game. So yeah, like I said, Matt Parrott, I want to watch him again. You're going to see him on Marcus Golden's on him, and he's kind of bull rushing him, and he's running through him. But Matt Parrott does have the edge sealed, and this is when Parrott would just push Golden this way. He would just push him this way, and Jones should just slide to here because there's a nice clean pocket right here. And then while he's standing here, throw this ball this way, and then he gets Slayton on that deep crosser. That's what I saw.
I agree. It's a lack of pocket awareness, though. That's he doesn't trust his left tackle, his blind side.
Yeah. We have another question in the chat from Airborne Cheeseburger, our guy. He's here pretty much every stream. Appreciate you as always. How would you react if we draft Trey Lance? I'm gonna let you tackle that one first, Alex. Go ahead.
Trey Lance. I mean, personally, of course he's going to be up there with the quarterbacks, but I prefer Zach Wilson. I mean, I guess if you draft a quarterback, you have to have some pretty good faith in him. But honestly, I don't think the Giants draft a quarterback if Dave Gettleman's here. If the only way they're drafting a quarterback is if he's gone, because they're sticking with Daniel Jones. But I don't know. I haven't done enough research on Trey Lance to know how good he is or how bad he is or what he misses, what his weaknesses are. But I do really like Zach Wilson, and I think he's a Kyler Murray type of player. And he is so good throwing downfield. If you get a guy like Zach Wilson, you get a deep threat, maybe like Kenny Galladay, you're gonna have a pretty damn good offense, man. You push the field with a guy like Zach, you're gonna do well.
Yeah. I'm going to say my answer is this. Nothing. No, I'm just kidding. The Godfather reference. I hope you got that. I don't really have like a legitimate answer because I haven't watched enough of these college prospects. Yeah, I've really been. I think everybody knows this. If you're keeping up with the channel, I've been breaking down a lot of film on the Giants this season. Pretty much every week, I'm doing at least 1 to 3 film breakdowns. So I haven't really gotten a chance to sit down and actually dive into these college prospects yet. I'm going to do that in the offseason. Trey Lance is going to be one of the guys I look into, Justin Fields, Zach Wilson, all of the top guys. I'll probably even look at Trevor Lawrence. I probably won't make a video on him because everybody knows how amazing he is. But I can't really give a full answer on Trey Lance. I can just say that my reaction to drafting a quarterback wouldn't be completely negative depending on depending on how these last 3 games play out, I am. Because I'm one of those analytical guys. I like what the Cardinals did, how they kind of threw Rosen away after a year and found Kyler Murray. I like that. I think the sooner that you give up on somebody, the sooner you find the better replacement, right? So if the Giants were to blow it up after 2 seasons with Jones, if they were to just move on, I wouldn't absolutely hate the decision, even though I am kind of a big Daniel Jones guy, and I do think he brings a lot to the table. I wouldn't hate if they drafted quarterback, but I can't really say Zach Wilson or Trey Lance or anything. I can't say yet because I just haven't looked into them enough. But I know Trey Lance has a cannon. That much I do know. And I would like to see, if there is another quarterback for the Giants, I'd like to see a guy who can bomb the ball and isn't afraid to throw the ball downfield. But I've seen Carson Wentz comparisons to Trey Lance, and I don't like that. So
good Carson is good, though. Good Carson's good.
All right, so on this play was talked about a lot on Twitter. You have Dion Lewis. It was actually talked about on the broadcast as well. Fox analysts even brought it up. Like, Dion Lewis is wide open here. And Evan Engram is literally blanketed. So, Alex, why don't you break this down? Because I just talked a lot. So you talk about this play.
I mean, there's too high right now. Obviously, this is a play where DJ is staring down his receiver again. He's going through the middle of the progressions. He looks to the middle of the field, but he never looks in the direction of Dion Lewis. That's my biggest concern here is he's not moving through all, or at least he looks at him like go back to the beginnings and maybe he gives him a peek, but I can't even tell if he even looks his way. Because look, right here you see, I guess he imagines
no, he didn't look.
He didn't even look because is that Drake Kirkpatrick?
Yeah, here's my thing though.
Matched up against Evan Engram.
Yeah, here's my thing that I want to bring up again. This is again the Giants start off in that 5 wide. Bluff, right? That BS that they do, and then they motion this guy, and then you see a guy literally follow Dion Lewis, so that indicates man coverage, right? So I don't know.
So maybe that's why he thought Dion Lewis would be covered.
Yeah, but they blew their coverage. He assumed if it's man coverage, the flat's not going to be there, but they completely blew their coverage. I think that Kirkpatrick was supposed to cover Lewis, and instead he just goes with Engram. I don't know actually what happened here. I think on this side you could see the 2 people are guarding Tate. This is what I thought was really peculiar. I think that this coverage was just messed up entirely by the way,
you never throw this ball. You never throw this ball. Drake Kirkpatrick has underneath leverage, and he throws this in the flat to Evan Engram. This is the old Daniel Jones that we saw. These are the mistakes we saw in the first half of the season that we prayed to the football gods we would never see again. This is the throw you do not want to see because you know how close that is to being a pick six? That's an inch from being a pick six. You can't Daniel Jones, man. Do you have the other angle of this? Because I want to see.
Yeah, I do. But I just want to I want to say this is gun bunch. This is a bunch formation on the right side, and again isolation here with Evan Engram. And I want to say against this coverage, I don't think that. All right, I want to point out Engram does an excellent job here. He pancakes a guy, he checks and then releases. I think that was really well done. So again, Evan Engram played actually pretty decently. He didn't catch any passes. He caught like 2 passes, but he played pretty decently. That's a good play right there. It's a good rep. We saw another good rep earlier. Yeah, this is just really good coverage. Like Ty said earlier, I think that's just good coverage. This is just good coverage. This is great coverage. Now, the guy who actually runs the same route as him and gets better coverage, look at this. Look at how Shepard is running this upfield, so he's cutting off this lane for him, and then Shepard is actually breaking open here. This should be right to Shepard, and
that's
Shepard.
DJ again, man. DJ has to move on from these progressions. He cannot stare down Evan Engram because was he the hot route there? Is that what that is? Because he doesn't even look to Dion Lewis or Sterling Shepard.
He's definitely. I think Evan Engram's the first read here, and so he sees the first read, and I guess he sees here. He sees maybe a little bit of separation. I don't know. I don't see it, but also here with Engram,
deep to Zarius Slayton too. I mean, there's a safety there.
That would have taken a Trey Lance arm, and I want to touch on that in just a second. But I want to say here with Engram, he runs this route kind of upfield, but this guy has the underneath leverage, so that's kind of tough. So if Jones wants to throw this, he should probably try and loft it, touch pass. But then you got a guy in his own here, so I don't know. This was just a mess, but I don't think this is as open as I think it is because 31 is rotating this way, and I don't think that actually would have been open for a
look. But you could make this argument though that Daniel Jones they don't respect his arm strength. They don't respect because look at this. He's in full stride here. If you have Pat Mahomes launch this 50 yards downfield and Slayton's in full stride, he's catching that ball. He's gone. There's 3 guys open here, and Daniel Jones misses all of them. This is
I agree.
DJ.
I'll say this. I'll say this is why I agree because If Slayton, he's running this route, if he runs it and the ball goes this way, I don't think there's any chance of him getting it. But I think if he leads him a little over here, right? Like if this ball is down the hash, I think then it's probably catchable. But my only fear is 31 rotating over and potentially intercepting that, I think. But you know what? It's neither here nor there. Jones never got off his first read and never even saw this. So it's like almost just arguing with a wall, right?
We're seeing right now so far that there's Garrett to blame, but DJ is to blame too because he's missing a lot of these reads. Let's see here. This looks very similar to what the Giants did against Seattle, by the way.
I want to respond to Mickey C. Yeah, Evan Engram had no separation on that play, but the ball just shouldn't have gone to Evan Engram. If he has no separation, then you don't throw it to him. No separation, you say, okay, he's not open. Let me move on to my next read. And then you see if he's open. And if he's not, then you move on to the next one. If he's not, right. So that's all I have to say about that. But yeah, he didn't have any separation. It was good coverage. Again, like I said, like Ty said, that was good coverage. It's an example of it. So I guess we'll see it from this camera angle. Oh, so sorry. I guess we won't. I thought that I had it in there. I had the two angles on everything. I guess I forgot for that one. My bad.
No problem. It was terrible.
Editing error. Yeah, it was a terrible play, so maybe it's a better thing.
This is a good throw.
I like this throw. I do think this is
good coverage. Throw. More good coverage. Budda Baker, best safety in the NFL.
It is excellent coverage. Again, they continue to press Darius Slayton. They don't respect his ability to get off the line of scrimmage. And I don't blame them because that's he's just not, he doesn't look that fast off the line of scrimmage. Like the defender's easily sticking with him here.
Just go back to the beginning
on this route as well. Oh no, actually, you know what? That's a good route by Slayton. I'm not
gonna. This ball's already out though.
I thought he fell. I don't know why I thought he fell, but yeah, the ball was already out.
That up. But you can see the cornerback is trying to force him inside, and he does a good job of it. Jay Kirkpatrick isn't the best in the world, but he wants to squeeze that sideline. Make DJ make a throw to his worst side. Daniel Jones is one of the worst quarterbacks. Matchup, right? Yep. And Daniel Jones is one of the worst quarterbacks when it comes to throwing to the left side of the field, the left boundary. They're like, please throw it here. We have a guy in the flat. Dre Kirkpatrick is pretty much in great coverage up until this point right here. They're begging Daniel Jones to make that throw, because most of the time he's not making it.
Yeah, no, this is actually a really good route because when he gets this outside release, usually when it's an outside release, you're going to see them just run down the field, and they're not going to pull up on that route. And Slayton really sells that, and then he actually does just plant his feet, breaks down, and he comes back to the football and completely leaves this man stumbling. So that's a really good route by Slayton. I'm not going to lie. We got to give him some props there. This is also, I believe, a cover 3 zone. You're going to see this guy go to the flat and this guy go to the flat and then, seam coverage. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's not what it is. I don't know. I can't even tell because it almost looks like man coverage. So whatever. The coverage isn't really that important. It's single high. Yeah, and you know that this is coming. And I like this shot up the seam here. I think it's a well thrown ball. I just think, like Ty said earlier, there was
again though. I don't think that they don't respect Daniel Jones's arm. They want him to throw it to the left boundary and they want him to throw it deep because they know, he doesn't have the power to gun those balls in there. That was actually a good throw.
I'm going to counterpoint. I'm going to say maybe it's not that they don't respect his arm. It's that they don't respect his ability to move off of the first read.
Also injured. I also don't think they feel they probably also feel like he doesn't have the strength right now off his back foot to put power.
Yeah, let's also point this out. You're going to see really bad blocking again. You're going to see Shane Lemieux gets just obliterated here. And really Jones takes a pretty big hit. He lays this ball out in a really good spot. It's both of his hands. But Budda Baker knocks it out.
There's actually negative separation.
That's not Budda Baker anyway. Budda Baker's 32. I thought
negative separation on this play. Like literally, he's holding.
Are you talking about? Wait, hold on. Are you talking about on this play?
The one that you were just showing. Yeah, this one. There's negative separation. Look, he's on him. He's on his hip.
Okay, this isn't really a route that you separate on that.
I know, but I'm just saying, like on a faster receiver, if there's better coverage and he puts it out in front of him, maybe there's a little bit more separation. But here, a Golden Tate also has been making catches like this.
That's also tough though.
Blanketed.
that's also tough because 31's rotating. So even if he does put more air on it, if that's even possible, which I don't think it was, but I don't know. This is a route that's supposed to get between two zones. So you're not really supposed to separate. You're supposed to find that soft spot, and he does. He finds that soft spot, and he leaves plenty of room for this throw to get in there. And another thing that I want to point out is, again, Daniel Jones is very accurate when throwing against single coverage. He's very good at putting the ball up where, high and away, where the receiver can make a play. And I think this is a good, accurate throw, especially while being hit.
I agree.
I just think it's an even better play by the defensive back.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I have to say.
Golden Tate wins the next matchup, the next deep ball.
I'm not going to twerk. Sorry, guys. It's not going to happen.
This is a pretty great catch. Is Slayton again? Did he catch this?
Yeah. Yeah, he did catch that. It is an excellent catch. He
targeted Drake Kirkpatrick a lot.
Yeah, and I think maybe what happened here is, again, I think probably Slayton was like, dude, last time we had this coverage and I had this single coverage on the outside, I ran a corner and I absolutely torched this guy, and I had like 5 yards of separation because that's what we saw in the very last play that we looked at, right? So I think because he runs the same release, he does the exact same thing. It's just this time, I think Drake Kirkpatrick was like, okay, fool me once, not twice, right? So, but he throws it anyway because he doesn't really have a choice because there's literally a man doing the plank on top of his body. So he's getting whacked against the ball has to come out. So, the ball is high. It's not really that accurate, but, it's a great catch by Slayton. It's a great catch by Slayton.
I'm okay with that pass because that means Drake Kirkpatrick can't undercut this route.
I also want to I like the route concept on the top of the screen, actually. This is just a smash concept where you have this guy run a corner route and you have this guy run like a curl route or a hook route, and then it's a low-high read. So this is taken away. So this actually does break open, but I can't tell if it breaks open because this guy pulls up because he sees that Jones is throwing the ball or if Engram was actually getting open here. But I would have liked to see the ball actually go here. I think this is that's proper
best side, too.
Play. Yeah, that's where the ball probably should have went. Even, again,
how long does he look that way? Okay, so he's looking here. He doesn't even wait. The thing is, he doesn't even wait for him to hit his break of the route. And he
does actually look at the low-high read, and then he looks. He sees, the low is taken away, so maybe I should wait for the high, and then he just looks it off. I don't know.
Because also the cornerback has his back turned. The cornerback has his back turned to the
ball should have went here. In my opinion, the ball should have went there. I don't want to nitpick too much on Jones, and he does stand in the pocket and gets whacked and makes a decent throw here, gives his receiver a chance. But it's just that's a low-high read, and I think it just should have went to Engram on the right side of the field.
Man, I have to say, the more we watch this, the more I think most of this is DJ's fault.
I still think it's a combination between DJ and Garrett.
It's both, but DJ misses a lot of reads, man. A lot of reads in this game.
We've seen him miss 3 reads, right, so far? 3 reads on this film.
And they're all big chunk play reads, by the way. Like, there's space in front of him.
It's true. Again, they bring the running back into the backfield, tells them whether it's man or zone. That's a common theme. They like to do that to help Daniel Jones.
Okay, you have him in the flat. You pick up the first down, though. Like, why do you don't? I get you're taking shots now, but look at this flat route.
This is later in the game. This is later in the game. They're trying to. Yeah, he does actually completely torch this linebacker. This is a great route by Dion Lewis. I believe that is. Yeah,
it's an easy first down and room to spare. Like, why? This is a 3rd down too, I believe.
Yeah, this was the play. Okay, I remember watching this on film, and I thought, man, this is not a good route by Darius Slayton. This is like the slowest. There's no separation. He does not get open in any way. I think it's an out and up, chair route.
Force feeding it to great.
Yeah, and take some shots, but look at how slow that release off the
bump and run is so bad.
The release off the line was really slow and really bad. Now, here's the thing, and I want to throw this out here because a lot of people might have never thought of this. Wouldn't Darius Slayton work a lot better in the slot? He's actually got the ability to make catches. He's faster than any receiver we have, and he can't win off of the line of scrimmage. So why not line him up in the slot more often? He's not getting open on the outside because he can't release off the line.
I would like the double. I would like the 2 wide receiver sets and have him behind so you can't jam him. I liked it when they did it earlier.
On each side, tight slots, and then you put outside receivers, on the outside.
Have him cross the middle of the field, the speed.
Yeah, I like him when he doesn't have press coverage. I think that when he's got a guy right on him, this is what we see way too often. We see a slow release, and we see a route that just it's not crispy enough. Because when we were talking to Brian, he was mentioning how DK Metcalf sometimes when he runs those out routes, he just has to speed route it, right? Like he can't run up, break down, and then cut. He has to just speed route it. Slayton's the same way. He's kind of bigger, he's fast, but he's not very agile, right? So he's a bigger receiver, so he's got to just run it and just go. It's like a speed route. He can't actually break down and break into and cut in and out of these routes. So that's really what we see here. We're just going to see him speed out it and then speed upfield.
One person says that Slayton's being held. So let's play this again because I want to see if he is being held here. So here he's okay. That looks like a hold to me personally. He's beyond a yard from the line of scrimmage. You can't put your hands on a guy like that.
I don't. I think within 5 yards you can, and I think that it's close enough to where the ref isn't going to call it because it's where were they lined up here?
It's close.
It's still 5 yards. It's still 5 yards, and then look, he gets to about here when it becomes like 6 or so yards, and cornerback instantly disengages. So okay. I don't know. It's close.
Go both ways.
Make the argument. Yeah. Like we said, I think we're going to see it pretty well from this angle. We're going to see Dion Lewis run a really, really great route out of the backfield and get wide open in the flat. So,
and I just don't get why DJ just doesn't see it. Why? Like
especially right because this is kind of low high. You look to the left side of the field and you see this out route wide open, and then you see the deep route whether or not that's open. So if the out route's open, deep route's not, and he should have seen the out route, but he doesn't.
It just seems like DJ has already made his decision before the ball snaps. Like he already knows where he's going. He's not actually playing while it's in post snap. His post snap progression is not great. This is a great ball.
Yeah, I like Mike Manning's comment. Why are we allergic to crossing routes?
Great question. Great question.
I like that. Allergic to crossing routes. That's funny. Again, so we got trips on one side and we got, the isolated receiver on the left. Again, it's Slayton, and every single time they're going to press coverage him because he doesn't get off the line of scrimmage. What we're going to see here is a seam route by Golden Tate. You know what? That's actually a pretty decent release there by Slayton. I actually
think he did a good job there. Go back a little bit because you'll see this. They already know, and pause it right here. They know what route Slayton's going to run. And I can tell you why. Watch Jay Kirkpatrick, watch him look back at Budda Baker and tell him, he's going inside. I don't need your help over top.
Let me just
see. He's pushing him towards the middle of the field. He's like, I know he's going inside.
Look at Alex. What a good eye.
Bam, he's done. He's done. And then they take away the crosser from Evan Engram. It's already over. This Golden Tate gets the catch here. And
this is a good route concept, though. This is a good route concept. I like this because you're going to see Engram come in this crosser and clear out this safety, and then it just leaves one-on-one with Golden Tate, which is, this is something that the Giants have done a lot. And I think initially, if you watch this play, Daniel Jones is going to shift left in the pocket. He actually does a pretty good job here. And he's looking at Engram. We'll see it better on the second camera angle. He's looking at Engram, and he sees that the safety is taking it away. So he says, okay, if the single high safety is not there, then that means this middle of the field is wide open. And he knows that he's got Tate on this seam route, so he just lays out a good pass. This is a good play by Daniel Jones. We'll give him. We'll criticize him when he's wrong. We'll give him credit when he's right.
I don't understand why Darius Slayton's 2 routes this entire game are pretty much just dig routes and to the outside. He runs a couple of nines, but mostly it's just dig routes to the outside. I really just don't get it.
You can see that Jones is keying in on Engram here, and he's shifting with Engram, and he looks. You saw, I don't know if you saw that, but I saw he gives like a really quick look to the safety and then looks away. He looks and then looks away. So he sees that the safety is taking it away, and then it's right here. Yeah, he shifts his head.
It's annoying to me. The most annoying part about DJ is that he'll do this on occasion. You're like, there's DJ, there's the guy we love. Or we want to love, right. and then he'll make a terrible decision and miss wide open players in the next play. It doesn't really make sense to me. Like he's another Evan Engram type of guy that's just super polarizing. He can't be consistent. He looks off Budda Baker, the best safety in the NFL, and throws a dart to Golden Tate, but he'll miss Dion Lewis in the flat right in front of him. Those are the things that Eli Manning never missed those reads. You know what I mean? Good quarterbacks don't miss obvious reads. It's just that's my biggest concern with DJ.
I don't know if I'd say Eli Manning never missed those reads, but
he missed Eli
was kind of inconsistent sometimes too.
He was, but mostly because of the offensive line. Right now, we're seeing decent blocking on occasion, and he's just missing throws.
Yeah, Authentic said this is four verticals concept. That's right. That's exactly what this is. And when you have a single high safety and the four verticals concept, you're going to look at those two receivers, the Engram route and the Tate route, and then whichever one gets taken away, you throw to the other one. So you're right about that, and this is a good job by Daniel Jones recognizing that against this coverage, because you might want to throw the ball here, but you got this safety breaking down, so you just wait
Shane
and
right
then
here, trampling.
yeah, good. It's a great pocket, and then like I've said before, I've said it over and over again. Anybody who's been a viewer for a little while knows that I love Daniel Jones throwing against single coverage. I think he's really good at it. So when he throws those deep routes against single coverage, he hits on them like 85% of the time, probably. So,
yep,
I like it. All right, now this is going to turn into a pick six one day. These routes are going to turn into a pick six. These,
Jason Garrett, why Jason Garrett?
Here though, this is that tight slots concept that I was talking about, and they put Tate in the slot, right? And they have Slayton on the outside, and I get it, Slayton's a bigger body, but I would actually like to see Slayton in the slot on one of these tight slots because I think that he would work better from the slot. He just doesn't, he doesn't beat people in press coverage. So, not that there is press coverage here anyway, but you know what I mean. So yeah, this is spot play, flat, curl. That's all this is.
And then you have the running back to the same thing underneath. Look, they're just playing 5 yards line of scrimmage.
This isn't a stick route either. This is not a sticks play. The line to gain is much further than this. This is the Giants trying to gain chunk yardage, right? Just gain a little bit at a time since they're backed up near their own end zone. But really what you should do here is just hand the ball off to Wayne Gallman, right? Because doing this, having all these guys just stand here, you're just inviting the coverage. You're just inviting a zone coverage to stand there and sit on these routes, a man coverage to stand there and sit on these routes. This is when, we've given Daniel Jones some criticism on this in this breakdown, and we've given him a lot of credit too in cases. This is one of those cases where you say he had absolutely nothing to work with on this play.
Here, my problem is that I don't think Daniel Jones has the autonomy to audible the line of scrimmage. You know what I mean? Like I see him audible on occasion, but there's some plays where I would like to see him read the pre-snap coverage and then make a decision. Maybe this is a good chance for us to audible because obviously they're doing 4 linebackers. They're trying to stack the box here, and you're thinking, oh, obviously we shouldn't run in this case. But why are you stacking the box against Deion Lewis? You know what I mean?
Well, that's Wayne Gallman in there right now.
Oh, sorry.
And they're backed up in their end zone, so it makes sense why they're stacking the box. But yeah, no, I agree. Like, I don't know. It's hard to tell, though. We don't know when Jones does or doesn't make like audibles. We can't actually get information like that. But, it does seem like a lot of the times they just go with the play that was called against a certain coverage, no matter the coverage that he sees. And usually it's not meant for that coverage. So, all right, this is the 3rd and 1. Oh, this is a 3rd and 1 to Shepard. I'm a lot less critical of this play call than most people.
I'm critical.
I don't absolutely hate this like most people do. Even live, I was like, well, you know what? This is actually a really good route by Shepard. He gets a really good release here, and he gets a lot of space on this boundary.
He's just too slow right there. Back it up. Like, just actually, back up to the beginning of the route.
Damn, that thing was fast.
So you're right. He does get he gets good separation. I believe that's Jay Kirkpatrick. So it's the matchup they want, right? That's the perfect matchup. But right here, this is where he needs to keep running straight. He almost looks like he's trying to hover back to the middle of the field, and he bumps right into him, and he loses that step. That extra step is the completion. Like I just don't really get why he kind of drifts to the middle of the field a little bit. They make contact. He bumps him in the halfway in the route.
All right, I'll try to explain why. I think because a lot of the times receivers, they have their routes, but they're allowed to read the coverage and then adjust on the fly as well, just like any quarterback, right? So I think what happens here, so Shepard's going to run this route. It's a slot fade, so he's going to run it this way, but then he sees that there's no safety in the middle of the field. So rather than trying to force Jones to fit this in a tight window on the sideline, he might be able to like pull a crossover, like in basketball when you got a defender going one way and you cross over. He might be able to pull a crossover and then just get naked in the middle of the field, like absolutely no one within 20 yards of him. So that might be what he was trying to do, and then he realized, oh crap, the ball is coming. And then he realized he just has to try and get to the spot that he was initially meant to go to.
This ball, I feel like, should be on the inside shoulder,
No,
though.
this should totally be on the outside. This
You
is
think
exactly
so?
where it should be. This is exactly
Okay.
where the ball should be. It's just a little overthrown. This ball has to be towards
Is
the
it
boundary
overthrown or is
because
it Sterling Shepard being too slow?
it's it's probably a little bit of both. If you're throwing to a receiver and you think he's faster than he is and you overthrow him, that's because he's slow, but it's also because you overthrew him. You know what I mean? It works hand in hand.
I think it was a good pass by DJ. My biggest question here is because I'm not a fan of this play at all. It's 3rd and 1. You need a first down here. I think the Giants are down by 2 or 3 scores at this point,
okay.
and you have Caden Smith wide open in the flat, and this is
Yes.
basically a hot route right to Sterling Shepard.
Yeah, the Shepard's the first read here, which is a little interesting. So it's basically like the Shepard went off the line. Okay, he did. So now I throw it. And that's kind of interesting because it is 3rd and 1. But you're going to see they actually run a really nice route concept right here. Engram kind of runs a little pick for our boy Caden Smith, who gets wide open in the flat. This is a really nice route concept on the left side of the field, but obviously he never even looks over there because you see Engram occupies 2 defenders at once, which means this ball can go right here and then he can fall forward for like a 5-yard gain and we extend the drive, But also Shepard does win on this route. This ball, if it's placed properly or if Shepard is a little faster, it's a catch. And this is exactly where it's supposed to be, this throw. It's supposed to be high and away. It's supposed to be on the boundary because you don't want to throw it in the middle of the field because that's when things bounce around and that's when
I'll say this. I'm okay with this throw at the 50-yard line. I am not okay with this throw backed up in your own 15 in the 4th quarter. That's how I feel.
I mean, that ball is like really close to being.
I love that ball. I thought it was perfect. I just thought it was. Can you back up? Can we? How far can you see this route for Sterling Shepard?
You can see him starting here, so you can see when the hand fighting begins, and he's trying to locate the pass.
Patrick runs this route for him.
I think he does a good job locating. Okay, but you got to understand he's supposed to.
I know.
Play where he's supposed to run the route for him. No. I'm saying not because he's a corner. I'm saying this is not designed for Shepard to like run a route and break open. He's not supposed to separate. What he's supposed to do is lead this defender to a certain spot, and then the ball is placed elsewhere. It's like a back shoulder fade, is what it is.
Right,
Aaron Rodgers would throw this ball. This ball would be like right here. This would be Shepard just turns around, catches it right on his chest, and keeps going.
So you think this should be still over, or do you think it should be back shoulder for Sterling Shepard? Because Kirkpatrick has his head turned around. Like, what do you think this ball should be?
This ball is okay. Let me try and rewind and I'll explain. Because this ball, Kirkpatrick is running the route for him, but that's because he's literally just running a slot fade. So Kirkpatrick's going to run the route with him. It's just now you have to throw him open. And he usually does it. Daniel Jones usually does throw these guys open. And he kind of does here. It's just he throws it a little too far. So there's one of 2 decisions you can make here. You can lob it and you can get it over his shoulder, right? He'll catch it over the shoulder near the sideline, right? You can do that. And that's a little, that's what he does. Or you could try and bullet it in there and just have Shepard turn right around and the ball hits him right in the chest. There's one of 2 options. Jones is just better with those touch passes. So he tries to lead him and then, get it right here on the sideline. But this is a back shoulder fade because when he releases like that and tries to dive at the ball, that's him doing a back shoulder. Mm-hmm. But it went over the shoulder. It's slightly overthrown.
Honestly, I think he tries to locate it a little bit too early and he loses a step because of it.
I don't think the ball location was that great. I don't think, Shepard locates the ball.
We've seen that earlier this year, though. We've seen it a couple times where Sterling Shepard turns his head a little bit too early and he loses a step because of it. Because, look, his head's already turned and he's halfway in the route. Like great wide receivers don't take, they don't turn their head until maybe the last second.
Yeah.
That's why they have all that time. That's why, you don't want to give your route away to the cornerback. I just think it's the little minor details. And I've seen Sterling Shepard do it a couple times. It was noted on television, earlier in this year. But right here, he started looking at the ball. Why? I mean, the cornerback
maybe he's not locating it well. I want to respond to a couple of things in the chat. Perry Mack says he could have thrown it to the 36, and that's kind of what I'm saying. If he just wings this ball right in here, back shoulder fade, this is definitely a catch, and he probably has the ability to run with it. Authentic says Daniel said it was Garrett's call too. That's correct. He did say that this was Jason Garrett's play call and that Shepard was the first read here. So he technically did exactly what he was supposed to. So the only thing that you can criticize Daniel Jones here for is maybe the accuracy, but not the play itself.
Right.
Okay, I think this might be the last clip. If not, there's one more after it, but we're almost done here, and then we can take some questions, continue the mailbag for a little bit before I go have some dinner.
Yeah, we're also gonna do Jabril Peppers this week too, so that'll be fun because he's been playing lights out.
That will be fun. And that was this play I actually really like because Shepard
Great
shows
throw.
off his Shepard's a hell of an athlete, dude. He really is.
He is. And look, the corner actually has underneath leverage here. That has to be a perfect throw.
Yeah, it
That
is a
has to
great
be a
throw.
perfect throw.
It is a perfect throw. Yeah, this was a cover 3 look, and then the safety drop back. So this is actually cover 2. Jones does a good job realizing that because when it's cover 2, the part of the field that's open is the middle, not the sideline. So he sees, okay, Slayton's taken away. It's cover 2, so this ball has to go in the middle of the field, and he actually does a good job zipping this pass in here in the middle of the field and throwing kind of a Danny dime. That's what this is.
It was a great throw.
Also, let me see if this is man or zone. This is what I got to figure out.
It looks like it's
it could be a busted coverage. You never know. It could be a busted coverage.
It looks like it's just cover 2 man.
This is man here. Yeah, this is cover 2 man for sure. Also, this guy gets wide open on the flag. Guess somebody didn't pick up their man. That's Evan Engram. But yeah, this is interesting route concepts that these routes go to the same place. I think that's really, really weird, actually. Maybe it's possible that they ran different routes. Or I think they're trying to run a dagger concept. I think that's what it is. That's exactly what it is, actually. Or a dig. This is a dig route. This is a dagger concept. So this guy just clears out the middle of the field. Golden Tate clears out the middle of the field, and then Shepard's supposed to get just a free run over the middle of the field, which doesn't exactly work out that way because they kind of just run the route to the same spot. So I don't know if maybe something should have ran slower.
That happens a couple times in this game where there was another play earlier.
It did work though. Like it got Shepard open. It just didn't clear out the safeties the way it was supposed to is the only problem.
Right. It works, but there was a couple of instances where I noticed that these guys were running almost running into each other on routes deeper down the field. And that's just bad coaching. That's nothing but bad coaching in my opinion.
Mike Manning says he would have loved to see Shermer demoted to OC. I actually disagree. I know that's like a really popular thing for Giants fans that they wish Shermer was still running this offense. I don't, but that's also because I don't really like the Shermer offense. I don't like the Garrett offense. I just want like someone who's young and runs like a lot of pre-snap motion and is like almost like the air raid system like the Cardinals run, something exciting, something explosive, similar to the Chiefs where, they're airing the ball out and doing things that are very creative. I like that stuff. I don't like really this system.
This system is run heavy. This is not a passing system.
Yeah, and me, my analytical brain, I like the pass heavy offenses.
Me too. And I think Saquon would be a perfect running back for a pass heavy. The problem with him, the only problem with Saquon is a bad pass blocker. So that's where he comes into as a liability.
That's a great clean pocket. No, I agree. Yeah, totally. Great pocket, and then Engram does completely torch Marcus Golden here. I think that is in coverage, which I don't know why he's in coverage, but yeah, but Daniel Jones, this is a perfect throw. This is on a rope. It's a great catch by Shepard. Let's see here because this is man coverage. Let's take one more look at Shepard's route. See, I like that because what he does here, if you're going to watch, when he runs this route and he starts to stack over Patrick Peterson. So you know what that means is when you run this route, right, when you get behind the cornerback, you want to then run. So you don't want to like start leading one way. You want to get on top of the cornerback, if that makes sense. Like you want to be almost in a single file line right in front of him. So he's stacking him here.
Essentially.
Yeah, right. Well, he's selling the 9, but he's also keeping Patrick Peterson behind him.
Right.
Can't get in front of him. So when you stack and then, because basically say you stack, right, and then you are running a 9 route. Say you're running a go and you stack in front of that cornerback and then you slow down. That cornerback is going to run into you and commit a pass interference. Like you have to get in front of them for that, for the pass interference penalty as well. But also just because if you stack in front of them, they literally can't gain ground on you. They have to go around you. And if you're both running full speed, you can't do that. So that stacking is like a real key part of running routes as a wide receiver. And he does a good job stacking here. And then that gives him the leverage to actually burst inside. And he cuts really sharply. He's a good route runner. It's Sterling Shepard, so he runs it well. And if you notice here, let's just rewind it once more. He runs this route and he doesn't drift upfield. He kind of works his way straight down the line, kind of towards the ball as well. You see him coming back to the ball here. He's not drifting upfield.
That's
That's
to try
something.
and don't let Patrick Peterson get underneath you.
Exactly. Yeah, you don't want to let the cornerback undercut you. And then, like I said, it starts with, you know, he does an inside release, and then basically what he does there, why he does that, is because he runs it here, knowing that he'll have Patrick Peterson on this shoulder, right, on his right shoulder, and then he'll stack on top of that, get him on his, further towards his right shoulder, and then because he knows he's breaking left, so he doesn't want him on the left shoulder, so he stacks so that he gets him on his right shoulder, and then he cuts inside to prevent Patrick Peterson from getting on his inside shoulder. That's kind of the whole concept of the stack on a deep in route.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good route. We didn't see much of that.
Great route. It was a really good route by Shepard. But that's a route where he's running a route that's 20 yards down the field. Like, he's running deep and then he's breaking in. He's not running a 5-yard route where he runs 5 yards and turns around. He's not running 5 yards and turning around. He's actually running a deep route with a huge break on it that allows him to create separation on a really good cornerback. So yeah, like, while we'll say great route and everything, and we'll criticize Jason Garrett as well for not having more of these routes in the playbook, because these are the routes that really get players like Sterling Shepard open. When he's able to run a real legitimate route going downfield, that's when he does his best damage.
Didn't have the pocket for a lot of the game.
That's a good point. There wasn't a lot of time in the pocket for Daniel Jones. Like I said, Hassan Reddick had, what was it, 5 sacks?
8 sacks on the day.
Yep.
5 fumbles, I think they forced. Unbelievable.
So anyway, we're kind of done with the film breakdown. That's really all the clips that I have. I'm just gonna let them play through. We can answer a few questions for 5-10 minutes, maybe, if you're about it. And then I'm gonna go have some pasta. Italian self is gonna have some pasta.
I did have snow today. It's snowing right now. There's a big storm happening as we speak. There's 12 to 16 inches.
I don't get snow in Florida.
Okay, and it'll snow like once now, and then it'll never snow for the rest of the winter.
It sucks, dude, because I was supposed to be up there as well. I was supposed to be in New York right now, and I'm not because of COVID. So that would have been nice if I could have seen snow again, because I haven't seen it in a few years because, I moved to Florida a while ago. Kind of sucks.
Yeah. But Street Hit, just ask a question. Do you think Daniel Jones is good? I think he's good at some things. I think he's bad at some things. My major concern with Daniel Jones is he's wildly inconsistent in every category. Yeah. Actually, I'll take that back. The only category he's consistent in is running the ball, and he couldn't run this past game, so it took out pretty much half of his game. He's a guy who I don't think he's going to be a pure pocket passer who, like a Matt Ryan type of guy who's going to stand in there and sling the rock and make the right reads all game long. Those types of quarterbacks, I don't think he's that guy. I think he needs his legs to be a competent quarterback, personally. I mean, maybe over time he will learn to process these reads better. But it's tough for me because, I look at a guy like DJ and I see him make some really good plays and some great reads and some great throws and put the ball in the perfect place. And then a very next play, he'll miss an entirely wide open guy, and is that on Jason Garrett that he's saying, this is your first read, stick to him? Or is it DJ not, just not moving on and not feeling comfortable with the concept? I can't tell yet, but from this, it's a very healthy blend. A very healthy blend of Jason Garrett and DJ both equally destroying this game for the Giants. And the wide receivers can't
and the offensive line. The
whole offense sucks, man.
I'll say, though, Daniel Jones is always has the autonomy to look from read 1 to 2 to 3. Yeah, there might be a play where Garrett says you're going to want to throw to this guy. This is the number 1 read on this play. Jones will always have the autonomy to look past that read. Whether he does or doesn't is dependent on whether or not he has time in the pocket to do so, and whether or not he actually has the mental awareness to do it. Because if he just doesn't do it and he has a clean pocket, that's when we start to pull our hair out. And it happens every now and then. It happens a little more often than it should, right? So that's kind of the problem there. But he always has the autonomy to look onto his next route. It's just that he doesn't always do it.
Yeah. I mean, it's a long road, and I honestly wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be mad. I'll leave it at this. If the Giants drafted a quarterback, I wouldn't be pissed. I wouldn't be mad.
I wouldn't be either, but I do think Jones is here to stay. I don't think they're going to draft him. I think he's here to stay, and I do think that he has enough to work
good
with to mold him
qualities.
into a good quarterback. You know, I think the deep
Yeah.
ball accuracy is my favorite part about him. Just the problem is he doesn't throw enough deep balls. He doesn't have enough opportunities to do it.
He has good qualities, you know, like DJ he can run, he can throw the deep ball, he can pass. It's just mental lapses that get to me.
Yeah.
You know, like it's the consistency issues in those categories. You know, the misreads, also it's the offensive coordinator, you know, like I don't really get it. I don't know if it's a mental thing for DJ or it's Jason Garrett and telling him to do certain things, but I would love to see him with a more downfield West Coast style offense and how he would do, because last year, the guy looked, even last year, people were saying, you know, DJ, he looked good, not great. This year, it looks like he's regressed. You know, I just think the fumbling issues, they've kind of gone down. But last week, he fumbled 3 times. And, you know, the interceptions are down, which is great. I would have loved to see him in a Pat Shurmur offense, more downfield throws and letting him be more creative. That was. I know Anthony doesn't like the Pat Shurmur, but the thing I like that Pat Shurmur gave him was the ability to be creative. You know, like that's what I would have liked. The perfect blend for me would have been like Jason Garrett's running game and a downfield passing game. You know, those like mesh those, like these intermediate to shallow throws, they don't work that well because they're trying to pick up first downs and not go for home runs. You know, I'd like to see more home run plays, getting in behind the defense. And we saw one throw. There's only one throw that I can really say that he put it out in front of Darius Slayton against Cincinnati. You remember that throw that was like 50 yards downfield? That was the only throw I can think of in recent memory where he launched a ball downfield with room to spare. With like he was going for the home run. You know, these throws
55 yards through the air. It was very.
That's what I'm saying. When you're throwing to single coverage, you know, it's good to give your guy a chance. You know, this is what the Giants have been good at the past couple of weeks, is if there's anything on offense, aside from the running game, is that they've given the wide receivers a chance in single coverage, but there's no throws that DJ makes that are like putting it out in front of the receiver and letting him run after it, like Tyreek Hill type of throws. You know, I would like to see more of those. I just don't know if they trust the wide receivers to get enough separation. I think Darius Slayton has the ability. I just think they're running him like so much in these dig routes that, you know, it's just the same crap. I think opposing defenses know what they're doing already. That's personally how I feel about it. I think they figured out Jason Garrett's looks, the concepts, and what they're going to do. It's pretty basic. You know, like we're not seeing anything creative and crazy and interesting to keep defenses honest. I'd like to see Saquon in this offense. You know, I think it's just predictable, Mike. You know, like you just mentioned, I think it's just offense just predictable. And we keep saying this every freaking year. You know, every year it's predictable. Jason Garrett's predictable. Ben McAdoo's predictable. It's a slant route to OBJ every play. Pat Shurmur got predictable because he was doing too much. You know,
I want to give a little credit to Pat Shurmur, you know, because I hate the Pat Shurmur offense, but I want to give some credit. When things get stagnant, he does figure out a way to get a spark sometimes, right? Like, I remember against Carolina, things started to stagnate, and then he called that trick play with Odell Beckham Jr. throwing the deep pass to Saquon Barkley. Like, he has a few creative moments where he realizes, okay, things are stagnating. Now it's time to you know, dig deeper in the playbook. He was able to do that. I haven't seen Jason Garrett really dig deeper in the playbook. But that's not me saying that I want Pat Shurmur as an OC. I don't like Pat Shurmur. I think he's a terrible personality to have in the locker room more than anything. I think the players hated him. And I don't think that he should really be in the Giants locker room ever again. So, and he never will be anyway, but you know, I agree, man. It's way too predictable, Mike. I agree. Garrett's predictable. We've had some predictable OCs. It's time I think it's time we get Sean Ryan back. I'm just kidding. I don't know. Yeah. I've talked about Sean Ryan before, but he's a young guy. I want a young guy, somebody who's new, fresh, brand new offense. Nobody's ever seen it before. None of it's on film, something like that, you know, even if he's like a guy from college who's making the jump, you know, I would even be open to something like that. You know, like Joe Brady went up with the Panthers this year. That would have been cool. You know,
I think they should. I
got the appeal. Yeah, I got the appeal of Jason Garrett. You know, he's a veteran. He's got head coaching experience. He can develop Daniel Jones and everything. Like, I got the whole appeal of it, and I got behind it. And then when we went on the winning streak, I thought his play calling was a lot better, so I really got behind it. But, you know, it's just like all along, I definitely would have liked a more progressive, forward-thinking offensive coordinator. Like, I always would have wanted that. You know, I've always said that. But,
yeah,
you know, we are where we are. I think Garrett's coming back next year. I don't know if that's for better or worse. We'll just play it by ear and see how it goes. But
I'll tell you this. The one thing I like about Garrett is that he knows how to use running backs. That's what I like about him. He knows how to use running backs, and I think that he would have figured it out with Saquon. I think he would have gotten him involved in the passing game like they did with Zeke in the past. I think that would have been his strength. I would love for them to bring in a passing game coordinator to help Garrett develop newer concepts and really get another wide receiver, a number one guy who can come in here and really change the look of this offense. Because, I think you mentioned this, somebody mentioned it, but when OBJ was on the team, Saquon had his best season. When OBJ left, Saquon had his worst season. Obviously the injury played a part in that, but I think teams realize, all we have to do is stack the box, stop Saquon, and just man up in coverage, and we'll stop these wide receivers. And they do it now. They're doing it now.
Those injuries, I think, do also correlate. Like you said, well, of course he was injured as well, so you got to cut him some slack. But those injuries probably correlate. He's getting the ball more. He's having to do so much more, and he's putting himself in harm's way more and more often because he doesn't have that wide receiver that the Giants are trying to force feed the ball as well. Right. He's not sharing the ball with anybody. He's getting the ball every play. He's likely to get injured. Like that's just it correlates.
Yeah, there are some players in the league, like let's say Tyreek Hill. Teams know they're pushing him deep. They just know, even when they know what's happening, they still manage to get him open. They do creative things. I just don't see enough creativity in this offense right now. And it could be a lack of playmakers, but look what Patrick Graham's doing, with what he's with, some of these units, outside linebacker and whatnot. They look great. Isaac Yiadom, who the hell thought he would be a competent cornerback at this point in the season? Nobody.
It's fair.
So, I'm pinpointing very detailed players right now because I don't see anybody on offense with the exception of Wayne Gallman, who has Burton Burns as his running backs coach. And I think that's Burton Burns is legit, man. He's coached up Mark Ingram and Derrick Henry, two Heisman winning running backs. I think Mark Ingram actually liked my tweet the other day. Forgot to tell you about that. Mark Ingram liked it when I talked about Burton Burns. And, Wayne Gallman looks like a different running back this year. He hasn't fumbled once. That was his main con, was the fumbling. And I think Wayne Gallman's become a capable running back because of his coaching. And I think that's credit to Burton Burns and the blocking up front, which is I would credit Mark Colombo and Dave Guglielmo for that. I don't think Jason Garrett, I think it's the players personally. I don't even think Jason Garrett's doing a good job with much. I don't know. It's really hard to tell because we don't know the insides of this offense and what he's doing, what he's not doing. But one thing's for sure, the passing game is anemic. There's nothing there. And it's not like if you gave a good coordinator these playmakers, Evan Engram, Darius Slayton, Sterling Shepard, they'd be averaging more than this. I'll tell you right now. The Giants are averaging 300 passing yards per game, second to last place, right in front of the Jets. Okay. Washington's averaging more. Cincinnati's averaging more. Chicago is averaging more. Philadelphia is averaging more. I mean, some of these teams have less talent than we do. Washington has Terry McLaurin. That's it.
Well, that's why I'm saying I'll give the benefit of the doubt to Jason Garrett, and I'll say that I am excited for if he is here next year and we do actually find a wide receiver, whether it's through the draft or free agency, then maybe we can see a whole nother offense and we can actually see receivers separate and get open and everything like that. And then, playing with a number one wide receiver along with Saquon Barkley might actually really open up the offense. So I'll give Jason Garrett the benefit of the doubt if he is brought back next season. And I also want to respond to a couple things in the chat. Finez is saying our receivers aren't bad, though. Everyone's saying we have no weapons. And then Cheeseburger responded saying our receivers get no separation. So here's the thing. I think it's a combination of both, right? Our receivers aren't great. They're not going to get open against man coverage every single time or really against any coverage. It's just if they run the right route, they can get open and they will separate. But the problem is a lot of their routes just go 5 yards and then turn around. There is no real way to separate against that. You just kind of have to hope that the timing is good and that the coverage is also favorable, and then you'll be open and you'll catch it. But there's no real way to separate on a route like that, and that's the real problem. But then, there are plays that we looked at today with Slayton where he's on the boundary and he just gets, he's slow off the line of scrimmage. He doesn't get any separation and he's kind of locked down the whole way. So it's kind of both, both of you are correct, right? They're under the league average in terms of separation, and they're not getting open as consistently as they should. But also, Finez, to your point, they're not running enough routes that actually get them open. They're running a lot of routes where they just run up and turn around, and they're not really given a full opportunity to break open. When they were, like we saw on that Shepard route towards the end, he ran a deep dig route, and he he separated, he got open, and he ran a great route. They just don't really have the opportunity to do that often. But also Shepard did that. I don't know if Slayton has the ability to do that. I don't think he gets separation very well. I just think that he struggles to separate as well. And I don't know. So that's just, my response to both of you in the chat. Appreciate you guys having the conversation in the chat and giving us something to talk about and break down for you.
Yeah. And the last thing, from Papadopoulos, cool Greek name. Would the Giants be better if they kept OBJ? I don't think they'd be much better. I mean,
no, I don't think so.
I don't think so. I mean, Dexter Lawrence, I don't think the defense would be anywhere close to as good as they are right now without Dexter Lawrence and Jabril Peppers. I think the offense might be a little bit better, but it wouldn't be the same impact that Peppers and Dexter Lawrence are having on this defense right now. So that would be my answer.
Yep, I agree. Totally agree with that. I think that, Peppers is so big for this defense, and Dexter Lawrence really opens things up for players like Dalvin Tomlinson and Leonard Williams. I think those players are really crucial. I think even Oshane Ximines is pretty good. I do think that this offense would be better. Yeah, duh. And I think that the Giants would be better if they had a wide receiver one. But if they kept OBJ, that would mean that they didn't gain the talent in Peppers and Lawrence. And so I don't think that they would be a better team had they kept him. I think that they won the trade. I think in hindsight, I was pissed in the moment. And it still hurts me that they did it. But in hindsight, they did the right thing. They got rid of him. He's injury prone now. And they have a couple more really talented players on defense that we can work with. So I think we won the trade, and I don't think we'd be better had we not made the trade.
Yep. That's pretty much it for me, man. I saw enough of this. I've seen enough of Garrett. I've seen enough of DJ today. I need a break. I need a drink. After that, some apple juice.
Some apple juice.
Anything else you want to add?
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. It was fun breaking down the film live. Like I said, wide receivers, my bread and butter. I love breaking down the wide receivers. I'll say, though, I wish there was more to break down. We had plenty of clips, but we had a lot of clips where they just run straight and turn around. I wish we had more of an opportunity to watch them run some real legitimate routes. We didn't. Hopefully, eventually we will, because I like watching them really run like a full route tree, and we just don't see the Giants receivers do that, unfortunately. But, thanks for tuning in, asking questions for the mailbag part of this, and watching us break down some film. It was great. We appreciate it. And tune in on the next live stream and to all the videos. And then, Alex, I'll let you get the last word. You get the last word.
Okay. Well, as always, thank you guys so much for tuning into the Fireside Giants. We're trying to build a cool community for you guys and put out some awesome content. Obviously, we're going to keep growing, expanding. If you have any feedback for us, please let us know. You can hit me up on Twitter, in the community channel or whatnot. We'd love to hear your feedback and get some ideas on what you guys want to see, because really we're here to create content for you. That is our goal. We're not doing it for us. We're doing it for you. So if you really want to, give us your feedback and what you want to see in the future, we'd be more than happy to create some stuff that you want to see. So as always, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll catch you guys next time.